Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Ben Harris. I'm one of the editors at My Jewish Learning, and welcome back to our second installment of reciting publicly Tehillim, a chapter from the book of Psalms. We are pleased to have you with us this afternoon. I'm also pleased to introduce Cantor Matt Axelrod from Scotch Plains, New Jersey, a contributor to My Jewish Learning. He has done some writing for us, and we are really pleased that he will lead us this afternoon with a short teaching, followed by a recitation of Psalm 121. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Cantor Matt Axelrod.
Good. Thanks, Ben. It's a pleasure to see everyone this afternoon. I want to wish everyone an early Good Shabbos. We are most in need of Psalms during this period. And you may know that Psalms have traditionally been used as a source of comfort and a source that we can look for healing and for the wide range of emotions that we feel. So no time more than the present is it appropriate for us to turn to the book of Psalms, and all the more so to the psalm that I chose for this afternoon, Psalm 121. There are different kinds of psalms throughout the body of 150 psalms. We have psalms of victory, we have psalms of triumph, psalms of mourning, of course, psalms of gratitude. And this psalm, Psalm 121, is very much what I feel is a psalm of comfort and reassurance. And I want to take a look at it. Ben, if you could screen share. I think Ben's going to put the text up that we can see maybe, yep, in Hebrew. Perfect. Okay, fantastic. So let's just take a quick look. There's actually some surprising things going on in here. So the first sentence is actually quite interesting. So Shir Lama'alot, which means a song of ascents, of going up, of one ascending, probably referred to when one ascended the elevation up to Jerusalem. So a song of ascents, Esa Einai El Eharim, I will lift up my eyes to the hills. I love this parallel imagery that we get the image of going up, of looking up, of being uplifted. So it's not only a song of ascents that we're physically walking up, but it's making us feel like our souls, like our bodies are actually rising. Because the next phrase, Esa Einai, I will lift up my eyes to the mountains, so that we're physically and emotionally lifting ourselves up, lifting our faces up, and feeling uplifted that way. But then something interesting happens. It's a bit of a non sequitur. The next end of the sentence is, Me ayin yavo ezri, from where will my help arrive? Now, this is kind of strange, right? It says, I will lift up my eyes to the mountains, to the hills. And then it just asks this question, where's my help coming from? And it just doesn't really, it doesn't really flow from one to the other. In fact, it's usually punctuated as Shir Lama'alot, comma, Esa Einai El Hehari Me Ayin Yavo Ezri. But I think it works better if we say, Shir Lama'alot Esa Einai El Heharim, a song of ascents, I will lift up my eyes to the mountains, period. Now a new thought, where's my help coming from? Now this is a very Jewish, traditional liturgical technique. We do it all the time. They're asking a rhetorical question. So where's my help coming from? But in a very Jewish fashion, it goes on to answer the rhetorical question. And it says immediately in the next verse, Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. My help will come from God, who is the maker of heaven and earth. And of course, saying I'm the maker of heaven and earth is God's way of saying I control everything from A to Z. Heaven and earth is the Jewish way of saying from A to Z, from high, low, everything in between. So in many ways, this psalm is not only a psalm of comfort and reassurance, it very much works as what a parent might say to children who are anxious or scared of the dark or don't want to go to bed because of typical childhood fears. And I think that's an emotion that many of us can tap into right now with the current level of anxiety and all the things that we're worried about. If this were more interactive and we had more time, obviously, and we don't, I would actually throw it out and want to have like, a little bit of a Socratic method and to ask you, but instead I'll just point out, if you take a look, if you're able to read the Hebrew, if you take a look at the text as you just kind of skim your way down, and if you don't read Hebrew, that's perfectly fine because I'll explain everything. You will see a certain word or Hebrew root repeat itself over and over again. In fact, it repeats itself 6 times. And the word is, Ben, if you could just circle with your cursor the last word of the 3rd line. Shomrecha. So that word, that root repeats itself over and over again. Shomrecha. Then in the next line, shomer. And then in the next line after that, shmorcha. And then in the next to the last lines, yishmorcha and yishmor tzeitcha. It means to protect, to guard, to look over, to watch over. So what we're showing here is that we're not at the whim of an uncontrolled universe, that even though we're not sure exactly what's happening, God very much is in control. And then by extension, we're protected because it's a Jewish way of saying God has our backs. So that's a very short teaching. What I want to do now is I would love for us to do each verse one after the other. And I think Ben will handle the unmuting so I can hear you and maybe we can hear each other. What I'm going to do is for the first, if you'll bear with me, for the first 2 sentences, I'm going to sing it in a certain way. And then if you're able to imitate my singing, that would be great, because I just want to give you like a little bit of cantor stuff before Shabbat. And then I'll chant it a little more simply after that. And then you can just repeat in any way that's comfortable to you. All right, so I'm going to start with the words Esa Enai. All right, I do hear you, so good. All right, so I'm just going to sing, and then you can repeat after me, or I'll repeat it with you. Okay, so Esa Enai, I'll begin. Esa Enai el Heharim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Please after me. Esa Enai el Heharim me'ayin yavo Ezri. To the second line. Ezri me'im Adonai Ose shamayim va'aretz. Ezri me'im Adonai Ose shamayim va'aretz. Al yitein lamot raglecha al yanum shomrecha. Al yitein lamot raglecha al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yeminecha. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yeminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yacheka v'yareach balayla. Yomam hashemesh lo yacheka v'yareach balayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeitcha uvoecha me'ata v'ad olam. Adonai yishmor tzeitcha uvoecha me'ata v'ad olam. Again, I want to wish everyone a Shabbat of healing, of wholeness, of comfort, and May we all get back to a normal life and a life of wholeness and health as soon as possible. So again, Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Cantor Axelrod, and thank you to all of you for joining us. I just want to second that sentiment and wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, a safe and healthy weekend, and we hope to see you all next week. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.